Broadcasting from Watts Creative Studios and live on Grove Street FM. You're listening to Talk Local to Me, brought to you by the Central Virginia Business Coalition.
So we do. thanks for coming out. But we do we have quite a few guests today. I have two here in the studio. I have one that will be calling in around 12:30. And so I have Patricia Braxton with Bright Hope, correct?
Yes.
Want to make sure I say that right.
Yes.
And then Whitney Pugh with Agena Care.
Yes.
And really excited. So we have everything. We have daycare, we have healthcare. And we have, we'll have Dana Cooper, who will be calling in. He is going to be performing at the Bauer Center for the Arts on I believe the 21st. I'm going to make sure that I am correct, but I believe it is this weekend. And we want to make sure, yes, it is. It's the 21st. So we want to make sure that people are purchasing tickets for that event, and we'll learn more about Dana and all that he does and the styles of music he has when he calls in at 12:30. But I'm going to start out. I'm going to work my way around the very large table over here and talk with Patricia first. Good morning. Or I guess it's technically afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You know, I always feel like I get up and I just keep going, and it's like, I don't even think about the whole like afternoon more. I'm always like, good morning if it's the first time I've seen somebody. So Patricia, you run with Bright Hope.
Bright Hope. Yes.
And tell us a little bit about Bright Hope. What is Bright Hope all about?
Bright Hope is an educational daycare center. We service ages 3 to 12. Originally in 1998, we started out as the Change Meet Steppers, just an after-school program for kids to get kids off the street, to have them come in, just do homework. We were in the Christmas parade. It's strange you should talk about the Christmas parade. We were in the Christmas parade. We did a lot of activities with kids. We went from 1 day per week, then we went to 2, and now we are a year-round facility. We do summer camps. We do homeschool. All of our kids are pre-K and K ready with the 4 and 5 year olds. In the summer, we do probably about one hour per day of education. And that takes on a lot of different things. We have a veggie garden project that we do. So the kids may have to come back. They may have to write a paragraph on worms. They get to dig in the dirt. They get to actually plant potatoes, tomatoes, just vegetables. And to be able to see that the kids actually realize that, hey, this stuff just doesn't really come from the local grocery store.
Right.
There's a process that happens with it. We're there from 7 to 5:30. We work with parents. We accept DSS subsidy, which is something that we encourage all parents. They have expanded the guidelines and the eligibility requirements to get help with child care. The state, they will pay for you now while you're looking for a job, while you're completing your education. There are so many things that's available now to parents if you are interested in, getting a job.
Here comes our train. It's our friendly train. Yes. I tell you what, it never fails.
It sounds like it's coming through the building too, doesn't it? But it really doesn't on the show. That's the weird part.
So sorry.
Everybody freaks out in the studio. You would think that, but then you're listening to it after. It's like, wait a minute, what?
And that's amazing because, talking about the things that we have kids doing as learning opportunities is, counting the cars on a train. How many cars? Because it's so many ways that kids learn.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We are outside. We're counting the colors of cars. How many cars will pass, how long before the next school bus gets here. So we do before and after school. What else can I say? We do in the summer on extremely hot days. We have water balloons. That is just such a biggie. We tell the kids every Monday, you bring your wet clothes and you leave them because we don't know what day we're going to throw up the hose and you're just going to. What we had during the pandemic, we had Amazement Square come to us. So they were doing shaving cream. The kids were just playing in the
Mm-hmm.
shaving cream. And of course, they just got it all over them. And it was like, it really wasn't any way that you could really get them cleaned up. So what we said, everybody put your hands up in the air, we're going outside. So we just got the hose and we just
Hosed all the kids down.
hose them down. So we're always looking for things that kids can be happy doing, have a lot of fun. We teach them card games. We have it, Legos, building blocks, just what kids do. We are right across the street from Miller Park, so the kids get to walk over there. And we're always on a field trip somewhere, whether it's at the library. It's just a full day. When you have parents that tell you the next day, well, before they got home, they were sound asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And our goal is to make them have so much fun and to be so tired when parents come to pick them up. We work with social emotional skills, having kids to get along with each other. Um, this is so important. One of the things we do, um, especially to help teachers, is we teach kids how to tie shoes. There are so many ways that you can tie
Mm-hmm.
shoes now. And YouTube is just such a great source for that. So if one way doesn't work, you can always figure out another way that can work. So each year we get a shoe tying king who teaches everybody else. So we have people of the day, people of the week. We look at report cards when report cards come in to see how we can strengthen a child. This year, our pre-K kids, when we had it was about 125 sight words that we had worked on over the year. Um, if a kid can read, that is just so important. For us, when our kids go off to pre-K, they know their ABCs. They're pretty much familiar with sound. They can write their name.
Mm-hmm.
I had subbed in about 8 of the elementary schools, K through third grade. So you basically get to see what the need is. In any classroom, the average size classroom, you may have between 12 and 15 kids. Kids have different strengths, they have different weaknesses. And basically, with our teachers trying to be able to um, meet everybody's need, it's what we do is so valuable because if we've taken out all of the basic things. Kids know colors, they know squares and hexagons, and if they are just ready and they're excited about reading, um, one of the books we often read is um, I Know 100 Sight Words. And it's a fun story, but they're the same sight words. So that's basically what we do.
I think that's really important because, like, okay, I know when I was in kindergarten you learned colors, you learned shapes and the days of the week and stuff. And now you go to kindergarten, it's like, all right, we're going to do algebra. tomorrow,
Yeah.
and I need y'all to know how to do this and that. So I think having a daycare or somewhere that kids can start to learn those things prior to going into kindergarten is important, like you said, because they're getting kind of a step up, a leg up before hitting public school system, and then they're not going into it kind of blindly, like, oh, some people may know this already, but
Right. And
but the expectations nowadays are crazy. I'm just gonna put that out there for
they
anyone
are
listening.
expecting now with daycare facilities, our new thing through Link B5 and the Department of Education is that pre-K kids will be pre-K ready. They will have the social skills that they need. They will know reasoning and um, concept reasoning. You may understand, you may see something, but knowing why it is like that, being able to talk, being able to explain what you're seeing, you know, why do you think the cat is on top of the house? You know, being able to tell the story. Are they going to have the house clean before their mom gets home? Just so many things. Having kids being able to be conversational. Many of our kids that we get, and many kids now, are from single parent homes. So in your house, your toys are your toys. You don't understand the concept of sharing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't understand the concept of taking a turn, letting someone else in front of you. Uh, don't get angry because it's not your turn. Having kids understand that you're not going to always win. Somebody else may have to win.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get upset. You don't get out of the game because you don't win. Basic concepts like kids learning how to jump rope, those things are just so foreign.
Nowadays, yes.
But being able to teach kids that kind of thing, how you can be creative. We do when we do the blocks that you knock down, we'll say you can do anything, but you cannot build a house. So we're Legos, you can do anything. You need to be creative. You need to think outside of the box and see what you can come up with.
Well, I was going to say, I love, a lot of the things that you have mentioned, the playing outside, the going to the park, going on field trips. I love the fact that you don't have kids that are just sitting there on their TV screens, or they're not watching, playing video games, and they're actually getting out there and learning. And, like you said, taking part in a garden, like those are, I think, important steps. I think a lot of people, and hopefully if you're listening, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but a lot of people use them as babysitters, the TV, the iPads, and they're not really getting out there and focusing on their kids and getting them in there, getting their hands dirty, learning, how to be creative, like you
Right.
said. And I think that's where we need to start getting back to. I remember, like I said, when I was young, when we went outside, we didn't come back home until like it was time to eat dinner. And, our parents knew we were like around,
Right.
but, we weren't, we may run in for lunch, grab something out the fridge and run back out the door, but it wasn't, you didn't stay inside.
Right, exactly.
If it won't raining, I mean, you was outside.
And we do limited use with the tech toys. Probably the only time you can actually play with your tech toy is like probably between 3 and 5, the time that your parents are coming to pick you up. One of the other things that we do for all of our, not just our kids, but Bright Hope, we are a community partner. We've been master partners with the city of Lynchburg for about 15 years. In 2012, we had partners come along beside us And each year we do an angel tree. In the angel tree, our partners, and this is probably one of the not so well known things that we do at Bright Hope, is our partners, they, they usually spend probably each one of our kids, probably 20, 25 kids, they get about $100 gift certificate. Uh, one year in 2012, I believe it was, we gave away 31 bicycles at
Wow.
Christmas. Last year, we partnered with the sheriff's department. Two of our schools, probably got like about 20, $50 gift cards a piece. We
Hmm.
buy uniforms for kids that are not Bright Hope. We work with parents as far as like filling out applications and things. We try to be a wraparound
Hmm.
program for our parents, not just to say, you drop your child off and then that's the end of it. We try to make sure that when parents pick kids up during the school year, if they have homework and reading, it's already taken care of. So then you can go to the ball field
Right.
or you can go home and you just have a free evening,
Hmm.
that kind of thing.
Yes, that's important because like I have my youngest daughter, she does gymnastics, and there are nights like she's doing homework at 9 o'clock because I'm taking her straight over to the gym and she's there till late, and so I think that is important. So two quick questions for you. One, how can those that are listening to you today, how can others help support Bright Hope? Like if you're a business in the community or even just, someone out there that just wants to help. Maybe it's at Christmas, maybe it's, year round. What are some best ways to do that?
We always have a waiting list for people that are needing help. We do try to um, look at where the application is coming from. They can contact us on our website, brighthope247.org is our website, and there's a contact list on that. We are always looking for ways to upgrade our technology so that kids can just stay abreast of the changes. Just like any other nonprofit, we're always looking for money. So not just money, but we are so thankful for all of the companies that come along beside us. They give us discounts. Of course, we always get the potato chips and just a number of agencies in Lynchburg that reach out to us.
Okay, that's great. And then as far as anyone that maybe is listening that's thinking they have a child that wants to attend, you know, Bright Hope, how does that work? Are you guys on a waiting list for that, or how does that kind of?
Amazingly enough, we do not have a waiting list. And I think one of the things that we don't do infants.
Hmm.
Our age group starts at 3 if they are fully potty trained. I don't want to be the only one there. I don't want my workers walking out on me. Be- because we are an educational
Hmm.
daycare. We start at the point of the ABCs and that kind of thing. One of the things we do offer scholarships. We encourage parents to take care of and to utilize the subsidy that the state of Virginia, that the governor
Hmm.
is really trying to push because it is so awesome. I think the maximum reimbursement right now for daycare that the state would pay is like $195 a week. Uh, you don't have to pay co-pays anymore.
Okay.
So, I mean, for parents that are really looking for work, looking to get ahead, um, Again, for us, we offer scholarships. Um, we look at each person's individual need. We have discounts for multiple children. Um, Basically, we encourage parents, if we have someone that actually comes in, and you can basically, through the course of the conversation, you know where a parent is. And I'm like this. And I said two things that would get you kicked out real quick. No,
She said, "Let me tell you now."
right up front, two things. I said, don't pay us on Friday and don't pick them up by 5:30. But let me expound on that. What that means is if you come in to us and we are sitting down and say you don't qualify for subsidy, okay, we have this conversation with you. What do you think you can afford to pay? And we just lay it on the line. It might be that we can do a scholarship for you, but don't put yourself out there where you're going to find yourself in a stressful
Mm-hmm.
position and you're not going to be able to deliver, because more than anything, at the end of the day, we want your child to be educated, we want your child to be safe,
Mm-hmm.
and we still want to be friends with you at the end.
Still want to be friends with you. I love that.
At the end of the day. And when you have parents that will work with you, it is so beneficial for the child. It is beneficial for the school, because when that child goes to school, they know that they are loved. They know that someone cares about them. They are more successful in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those, a child that goes to school that is ready to learn, the teacher will have less problems with that child than for a child that maybe doesn't have the perfect home environment. And all kids, on any given day, it's possible someone can't find the shoes, the dog ate the homework, you know. All of these things, mama's coffee turned over on, just so many
Mm-hmm.
things that happen. The power went off, that impacts how a child arrives in their classroom
Right.
setting.
So, thank you so much for coming on the show with me today. And if you're watching, or if you watch this later, you'll see. I feel like you're so passionate about this. I love it. I mean, you got them hands going and everything. So, real quickly, tell everyone again how they can get a hold of you, Bright Hope, if they're looking to make a donation, or they're looking to maybe have their child attend the school.
The easiest way to get in touch with us is through our phone number. That is 434-401-2636. Again, 434-401-2636.
Well, thank you so much again. And it's been a pleasure talking with you today. We have on the phone calling in, I'm going to give a quick bio, but we have Dana Cooper joining us on the show. And Dana Cooper is a poet, storyteller, songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee. Dana is a mixture of flat picking, finger picking, and percussive strumming style, is legend among other guitarists. His harmonica playing equally impressive. For one person, Dana Cooper delivers a big sound with his ageless voice, rhythm, great lyrics, and songs. As one critic noted, he sings like an angel and plays like the devil. Dana cannot be grouped into one style of music. His latest CD, I Can Face the Truth, charting on 5 radio charts, including Americana, indie folk, alternative folk, and roots. Dana is an American treasure taken from rock, is the new Roll Review. Welcome, Dana. How are you?
All right, Heather, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. It is good to have you calling in to talk local to me. I am excited to talk with you again. I was able to speak with you about a week ago. Um,
Yeah,
and I'm excited to kind of give your story out to our listeners here. So, you are going to be
yeah,
joining us this weekend here in Bedford.
yeah. That's right. At the Bauer Center for the Arts, along with my friend David Starr. Really looking forward to that show.
Yes, so the Bauer Center for the Arts, for those who don't know, and Susan's been on the show before. They are our kind of our community arts center, and so I'm really looking forward to hearing you play. I know that you are coming in with you've got a new CD out, so are we going to be hearing some of the music from that?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that and some of my older songs too. I've got quite a few I've collected over the years, so I'll have a lot of stuff to play for everybody here.
So let's talk about your career a little bit. How long have you been doing the whole Nashville, the songwriting?
Well, oh, you got a train going by there.
Yes. Oh,
I
see?
love that.
Yeah.
Huh?
So the studio is right beside a train track, and every now and then the train decides to make an appearance, and
That's cool.
you know,
I love
give everybody a little
trains.
bit of noise.
That's all right. Well, I've been doing this a while, Heather. I've been in. I moved to Nashville in 1988, but my first album came out in 1973, so it gives you an idea of how long I've been doing this. I think this is my 30th recording that I've been involved in. I can face the truth. It's the 30th CD I've been a part of. Those weren't all projects of my own, but most of them were. I've also worked with some other folks over the years and did records with them. So, yeah, it's quite a collection of work over the years.
And you've been on the road, so you travel a lot. You're on the road quite a bit.
Yes, this tour to support this record started about 9 months ago,
Mhm.
and we're going to continue really a tour in support of I Can Face the Truth through 2023. My manager's already got me booked through the year and even some dates in 2024. We're still filling in some dates and still looking for a house concert here and there along the way. I do a lot of those, but also play a lot of venues like the Bauer Center for the Arts, a lot of concert series across the country and coffee houses too. So
I think when we were talking last time, I was saying, like, I think it would be so cool to be on the road, but then there's also part of me that would be like, it'd be hard to be on the road all that amount of time. But you've been doing it for a while, so you're pretty seasoned at that, right?
yeah, I'm pretty used to it. My bags are usually never really completely unpacked. Even when I go home, there's still essentials in there, but I. Yeah, it's not for everyone, obviously. I do have the travel bug. I've always loved it. Being away from home gets to be difficult sometimes, but it's the life I chose, and I love meeting people along the way. I love the experiences along the way, the good and the bad. It all adds up to material to write about, and just that connection to people. I love playing live for audiences. That's something that we all sort of got out of the habit of doing there for a couple of years,
Mhm.
and it's I'm so grateful to be back doing it again and touring like this so extensively.
So let's talk a little bit about the style of music. And I know it says that you do a couple like different styles, but what is Americana? What is indie folk? I know a lot of that is, like you were saying, like storytelling.
Yeah, a lot of those genres are kind of nebulous to me because, excuse me, the Americana, for instance, really sort of encompasses so many genres that are roots kind of music.
Now
So that could be country, that could be blues, it could be folk, it could be a lot of different things. And
Mhm.
as far as what I write, I've always written kind of all over the place. I like so many kinds of music, so I'm influenced by everything from country music to South African music to Caribbean music, blues. R&B, Motown, rock and roll, folk, of course, traditional music from countries like Ireland. I just listened to all kinds of stuff. And my father, diverse in his taste too. I mean, for the time, he listened to a lot of great, popular singers back in the day. Everyone from Dinah Washington and Ray Charles to Frank Sinatra to we listened to a lot of big band music, a lot of country music, of course, too. So his tastes were pretty eclectic. And him, and during the 60s, of course, the top 40 AM radio was all over the place. You'd have all of those genres in the top 40. Everything was kind of gathered under that umbrella. So that was really what influenced me early on, I guess. Just that diversity of different kinds of music and artists.
Now, do you have any and it kind of sounds like you mentioned most of it, but kind of what inspires you when you're telling these stories or writing your songs?
Well, yeah, I mean, other people's stories, of course, that I encounter along the way influence me. Headlines, stories in the news, and of course, my own personal experiences from my family and from my growing up. Those are a real big part of the stories I tell, because it has been sort of an interesting journey from being a very repressed young Catholic kid in a small town in Missouri to being exposed to the arts and music and culture in Kansas City, Missouri, and those tend to be kind of entertaining and kind of funny stories when I look back on them. I'm amazed at the fact that I actually ever started doing this, because I was so painfully shy and unable to get up in front of people and even stand up on a bus and get off of the bus if there was anyone watching me. So I'd go past my bus stop. I learned the value of tokens back then, so I could turn around and go back the other direction again. I mean, I would sit toward the back of the bus so I could get off that side door, hopefully with no one. It was just excruciating. And I would do this on the way to do a performance at a coffee house. I'd ride the bus down to Westport area in Kansas City to play a place like the Vanguard and the Sign. And I would, I would go past my stop sometimes and walk, 2 or 3 miles back to where I needed to be. And then I'd get up on stage and play for people. And, of course, I could just close my eyes, and the music always just carried me away. I'm transported by it. So that really, it occurred to me one day as I was going through all that rigmarole that it was kind of silly, and I needed to man up and stand up and get off the bus in front of people. And as excruciating as it was, and that helped me. But the stories come from just experiences like that, and just so many things that have happened to me through the years. Being in the music business for all this time, lots of interesting people, lots of interesting experiences, lots of kind of horrific experiences and comical experiences that all accumulate, and I just like to share those with folks.
So your CD, I Can Face the Truth, has been receiving, critical acclaim and, rave reviews throughout. And you yourself have also received quite a few accolades. I was looking here, Best Male Songwriter Award for the Indie Acoustic Project, and Best Record from the Tennessean, and that kind of looks in the Spirit of Folk Award. I know that was one you had talked about last time.
Uh-huh.
So, you are taking off.
Yeah, well, it's been the critics have pretty consistently been good to me through my career. Not always, but for the most part, they have been. And I'm always really grateful for that. It isn't necessarily the real world, but it's a great litmus test. It's a great measuring stick, I guess, for what one does. But I always, it's the audiences that I look to for the real results to see how it really resonates with people. And when I get up and tell my stories and sing my songs to folks, and they are really responsive, then I know I'm doing something right. But I am always grateful for all those accolades, all those awards, and they look good on your resume, certainly, as venues research artists, and they see that you have these accomplishments. It means something to them.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably more than anything now, what means the most to people are your social media numbers. How many followers you have on Facebook and Instagram and all that. That's what more and more venues look to, because that's how that's how you advertise yourself now. So it's really it's just interesting over the years to see how much all of that has changed.
So, I know that it's exciting having you coming to Bedford this weekend, and you know, hearing the music and the storytelling that you're gonna be doing, and I appreciate you coming on the show to talk about it today. Quick question with you. When you come in this weekend, do you have you're playing with David? Is that what it is? David Starr?
Yes, David Starr.
Now, have you played with him before, or is this kind of a
I
new?
have.
Okay.
No, yeah, David and I have a long time association. He used to have a music venue in Little Rock, Arkansas, where he's from originally, and that's when I first met him. It was a wonderful venue, and he really tried to help create a music scene there. I don't think it went all that well for him, and he ended up going out to Colorado, and he's in this town called Cedar Edge out on the western slope out there. Really a sweet little town. It is a small town, but he has really been involved in building an art center there, where they have live performances, they have art exhibits, and it's really been supported by the community, and I mean, to an incredible degree. I watched him do this over the years, and he and I have co-written a few songs. His newest record, the last one before the newest one, called Beauty and Ruin. We wrote the title song for that record, and I actually shot the photograph for the cover of that album. So we've got a long time association, and we do perform together once in a while, as we can. And this will be, I think we have 2 concerts on this trip coming up. So I'm really looking forward to sharing the night with David, and he's great. People are going to love him too. He's a great storyteller as well, great songwriter.
Well, thank you so much for calling in. I'm looking forward to hearing you guys this weekend. And for those who tickets are still available at the Bauer Center. So October 21st from 6 to 7:30, come out and hear Dana Cooper and David Starr live. But Dana, thank you so much for calling in today.
Well, thank you, Heather. Thank you for your support. And really, I do want to encourage folks to support live music, because it really has kind of suffered over the last few years. And I think it's good. It's good for people. It's good for their hearts and souls too to get out and hear music. So hopefully we'll see some folks there at the Bauer Center for the Arts.
Yes. Thank you so much.
For your support. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Bye. Yep. So make sure you head out to the Bauer Center this weekend, grab you a ticket, and come listen to some live music, and support the Bauer Center here in our area and support the arts. So I'm gonna switch gears now. We've gone from daycare to music to healthcare. So Whitney, how are you? I feel like I can't see. Like Whitney, I'm like, hey, how's it going? Because we got these big mics in our way. I can like to see your head.
Yeah, it's like peekaboo.
But Whitney Pugh with Agena Care. And I have to say, I learned about Agena Care probably a little over a year ago. I think I saw your booth at a business expo I went to. And I thought to myself, what an amazing model. Like, it's something that I hadn't really seen being done before. And I just think it's extremely interesting. So I want to kind of start off by letting you tell everyone about Agena Care and how it kind of came to be and what it's all about.
All right. Thanks, Heather. Yeah. So, I'm a nurse practitioner and been in this area and travel nursed and all that for quite a while, and worked in, corporate medicine, and healthcare was very broken. And so I remember it was July 4th, and my husband and I, ironically enough, were in Nashville, Tennessee. And I said, I hate what I'm doing. I hate my job. I feel like I'm running people in like cattle and pushing them out just as fast. And I said, so I can either complain about it or I can actually try to fix it. So I told him then, I said, I'm going to start a mobile urgent care house call practice. So I'm going to go to the homes, do urgent care, and not do anything with insurances. It's just going to be a concierge, because insurances is why we're having to run people in and out like cattle, because your reimbursements are so low. So I said, that's what I'm going to do. November 2019 on Thanksgiving Day was the first patient that Agena Care House Calls saw. And then, of course, COVID hit, in March of 2020. And so it was me for the first year, but I had to decide, am I still going to keep doing this? Am I going to go into these homes? We had colleagues that weren't doing well through COVID. We didn't have any idea what we were really dealing with. And we never stopped. We kept going. We never turned a single patient away. And that is what really fueled the fire of Agena Care House Calls. We grew exceptionally fast because people had to find other alternatives because their primary cares were closed. You couldn't go in and see anyone because you couldn't get in anywhere. So what I thought was going to be a little side gig turned into my life 24/7 and grew very quickly. I added on a staff at that time, and I've done cosmetics in the past or aesthetics in the past, and so we still had several clients that would come for that. So I did kind of branch those businesses off. So we also have Agena Care Aesthetics, where we do all the fun things, Botox fillers, lasers, etc. So we have those both. But during COVID, we really noticed there were a lot of people that, number one, couldn't afford concierge care. But then also were people who were going in and out of the hospital using the 911 system for non-emergent reasons, going in and out of the hospital multiple times in a very small amount of time for things that could have been stopped. So, for example, they would, the hospitals would get them these nice rollators because they were having issues with falling. But yet rollators typically won't go through trailer doors. And so they would sit them on the front porch, leave them there, and they would be falling inside because they wouldn't have access to what they needed. And it was no one's fault. It was just no one saw that. So while we were running with COVID and we were seeing all these things that clients are going in and out of the hospital, they didn't need to. They don't want to do that. Of course, their quality of life changes, but also it increases healthcare dollars, which then increases the money that we have to pay back. So it doesn't help the healthcare system. So he said, we're going to develop a nonprofit, so a 501c3. We call it Agena Care Community Medicine. And we go and see those clients who have chronic conditions, who are in and out of the hospital, or who use 911 for non-acute emergencies. We put them in a program to allow them to be able to stay home and get the things that they need. So we launched that the first part of this year. So that kind of developed. A lot of the things that we do develop because it's what the community needs. So our goal is for our community to be one of the healthiest communities, because if we can make our community healthy, they're back out into the economy, they're working, they're thriving, which just improves our whole entire community. So that's kind of how it got started, a little bit in a nutshell. Never thought I'd be a business owner, and here I sit. We now have 4. So my husband says, I thought you didn't even want to do one. I said, I don't know, it just keeps happening.
That's how I feel about events.
Yeah. They just keep popping up. So we've got a team of a little less than 20 now that work really hard. We have paramedics, we have nurses, we have nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and then all the in-betweens.
So first of all, let me say thank you and congratulations on finding gaps that you constantly see in healthcare and finding a way to fill them effectively, because I think that's the thing is people see there's so many issues and there are gaps, but nobody's doing anything to fix them.
Right.
So I think what you are doing is phenomenal. And like I said, when I first heard about it, I was honestly excited to see something like that. I'd never heard of a mobile, healthcare that could just come to your home, and having a mother who has multiple sclerosis and is constantly falling somewhere or, having issues. It's kind of nice to know that you could potentially call someone because, she's dealing with Medicaid and, all these different things. But, there's times she has to go to the hospital and my dad's like, oh, my God, how much is that going to cost? And, things that I just feel like potentially if someone just came and looked at her, they'd be okay. Right. And Autumn's sitting over here. So Autumn is she is a CNA, and she actually takes care of my mother some throughout the week. But, I just think it's important that people see that there is help.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So, and we see people in all walks of life. So, a lot of elderly who can't get out, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's a chore. You have to have some type of transport system come and pick them up, take them to the place. It's a chore and it's hard on them as well. We do that. We're also kind of that in between referral base. So, if a client can't make it to the doctor to get a referral, like for hospice, palliative care, things like that, we're able to do that.
Okay.
It's also for those who are super busy and don't have the time to go sit at the doctor's office. So, their child is sick and I've also still have to work and I don't have the time to take off. We're able to go and meet them wherever they are, whether that be at school, whether that be at
Mm-hmm.
home, whether that's at work. It just makes it very convenient for that. Those, I know all the buzzing.
Sorry, I thought I had turned the buzzer
Buzzing.
off on my phone, but
No.
apparently I
Um,
did not.
Yeah. So we've really kind of expanded in a lot of areas that we were like, oh yeah, that could absolutely help as well. Um, to pretty much anybody. And we cover all of Virginia. We can go to all of
Okay,
Virginia.
perfect. That was going to be my next
Yeah.
question was where, how far out do you travel? Where are you guys located,
So we
serving?
have an office in Roanoke, and anything within that 50-mile radius there is included. We have office in Lynchburg. Any of that within the 50-mile radius is included. And then we're opening one in Danville as well. But again, we'll go to anywhere in Virginia. And then we also started doing the IV nutrition. So, COVID long haulers has been huge, right?
Mhm.
I think everybody knows someone who suffers from that. And we started doing that and have really seen a ton of differences and changes. And it actually is reversing these long hauler effects. And that has kept us probably just as busy as everything else, traveling to do that.
I'm so glad you brought that up because we had, and I cannot remember who was in our office a few days ago talking about they had heard about IV nutrition or things that you could do. Now, granted, I think they were talking about hangovers, but I'm just going to throw that out. But I mean, we were talking about that, and I was saying that I knew of a couple of places that offered that, but they had never heard of, who did.
Yeah.
So is that something simple as like you just call and they just hook you up for a small amount of time and it just kind of helps replenish, I guess, the things that you need in your body?
It does. So what it is, it's really just vitamins. It's a bunch of vitamins, but they go straight into the cell versus if you take a pill, it has to go through your stomach. And if your stomach has malabsorption issues, which means you don't, absorb it into your body, it just comes right back out. So you're really not seeing the effects of it. So this goes straight into the cell. So your gut doesn't have to play a role in it. And you will notice a big difference. So for example, we have one lady with alopecia after COVID, right? We've seen a lot of those people. And after she's gone through a round of treatments and her hair's already starting to come back in. And that's huge for women, right? Lots of people who have those breathing issues, the cough, the congestion, the wheezing. We've had several of those as we speak.
Speaking, you know what? And I'm honestly not 100% think that isn't something because I've had this little bit of, it's like I always have a constant tickle right here. And I just have to, it's just like a quick, and I have to keep doing it. But I don't know why.
Yeah.
So maybe that is it.
It could be.
Who knows?
There is, COVID long haulers consist of, pretty much everything under the sun. People, especially with these autoimmune disorders. So we've got several things added. We'll even come to the home and do the IV, or they can even come to the office as well and do that. But we do sutures, any lacerations, wound care, any of like flu testing, mono, COVID, upper respiratory, UTIs, any of that. When colleges come back.
Can we just park her in front of my mom's house? Go to the office right in front of my mom.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
we'll
can
be
you just
right
run in there.
Sutures you need for your husband.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does need those. But that's the only time he won't go to the doctor unless it's something like unless it's an emergency visit.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to get him anywhere.
Is he that one that takes
So.
the black tape?
Yes.
And wraps it
Yes,
and
he
then-
is.
Yep.
That's my husband. He'll call me at work. He'll be like, I just cut my finger open. And I'm like, okay, you need to go get stitches. He goes, no, I just is it like super glued it and duct taped it back
Yeah.
together. And I said, that is
Masking
not
tape.
sanitary. And I was like, coming from somebody who works in healthcare, that is not sanitary.
Sanitary.
The things
Like,
we do.
And I worked in urgent care for over a year or so until I finally decided to do this full time. And I was just like, no, don't
Yeah.
super glue it, please. That new skin stuff. They just
The new skin,
Yeah.
new skin.
So
Yeah.
I'll ask you kind of the same like I asked Patricia, how can someone help to support Agena Care, especially like whether it's the nonprofit side or, I'm assuming like with just the house calls, you were saying you don't accept insurance. So that's just, is it patient pay basically? Y'all have
Yes, it's cash pay.
Okay.
And then kind of depending on what you use, but it's just one flat fee. We don't add, you won't get 4 bills, for over the next 2 months.
Gotcha.
It's one flat fee that's paid before we even get there. And our house call, our charge is $194 for us to come, and that includes everything. If we do sutures, it's more. If we do the IVs, it's a little bit more as well. But we do have recently, Agena Care house calls has been combined in with a self-funded, actually, insurance plan, because the insurance program saw how the claim number was reduced when house calls was added. So instead of going to the ER or the urgent cares, they just come to us, and it's one flat fee. And they noticed there was a big savings. Plus, clients were able to decrease having to go to the hospital, these admissions and things like that. So there are options, and those are for companies, and they're for companies that are 20 and above. If they're looking for insurance programs that are actually, help with, because I know sometimes insurance is so expensive, it's hard to deal with it. But that is one thing. Agena Care House Calls we have a membership program. So like people who are in and out of the hospital. So if, say your mom needs a lot of care, you do the membership program and you save money. And then you just call us and tell us when you need it. Those are some ways. Now on the nonprofit side, just like Patricia said, every nonprofit is looking for money. But that's how we're able to not bill our clients, and we don't bill their insurance. We don't put them through that. So we look for stakeholders, we look for partners, and that's what we've been doing. We do a lot of events.
So I was getting ready to bring up, do you have an event coming up?
Well, we just finished our first golf tournament. Had amazing success with that. And then we are doing a festival in the field in April, and it'll be down in Franklin County, and there'll be lots of bands and drinks and cornhole tournaments and things like that. So it'll be a lot of fun, and that'll be posted. That'll come out on our website soon when all that's set and who our bands will be.
But we'll have to have you. We'll have to have you back before that, so we can talk a little bit more in depth about that. But
absolutely,
I think that I can't say. I think what you're doing is really. I hate to say cool, but it is cool. But I think it's needed. It's extremely needed, and I think that it gives people a little bit more hope that they can get some quality health care without having to worry about, whether their insurance is going to cover it or whether they're going to have to sit in an emergency room for 12 hours before they get seen and, things like that.
Right.
I think that's super important.
And our customer service is the biggest thing, because we're able to sit and talk. We're able to sit and listen to them. I mean, we have 95 5-star Google reviews. So people like that. They want to feel like they're heard. And right now in medicine, unfortunately, when you go through, it's like you can talk about one thing. That's all you get to talk about and hustle up, and that's hard, especially if someone just needs someone to listen or someone has more than one symptom. It's hard to talk about it in 4 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I will say, and I'll just have to give my quick shout out, because I will say my doctor here in Bedford, Dr. Thompson, with Curlian, he will sit there and talk with me for half an hour, depending. I'll come up with all kinds of things, and he just sits there and listens, and probably think to himself, "Lord Heather, you fine, just get out of here." But you are right. There are a lot. Like I know, again, going through different things with my mom, it's kind of like, well, what's your problem? Here's what I think. Let me throw some pills at it. And unfortunately, and then out the door you go.
And that's like with the urgent care when I worked there, because I worked all through COVID. That's what I did. COVID testing nonstop. But we would have people come in, and it, like you said, one thing, and then 2 days later, the same person would be coming back in again to talk about their other thing, because they didn't take the time to go ahead and just cover all of it in their one visit. So like we were constantly seeing the same patients coming in and out for like a week straight, and it was just like trying to turn over in and out. You got like 20 minutes to get a patient in, get them tested. I mean, we had such a wait time, and they didn't want to take a lot of time. We were taking people outside just a COVID swab, so we didn't have to air out the rooms.
Right.
Like it was just, they were just trying to quickly get them in and out as quick as possible.
And it's definitely not the provider's fault. They're trying, they've been through, I mean, the last 3 years have been,
it has been rough.
It's been hard, especially on healthcare, and then all the healthcare's mental, capacity as well. But unfortunately it's coming down from where the reimbursements are, and that's what pushes it different. So,
No, I completely agree with you. The practitioners, the nurses, all of them have worked tirelessly, I
Yes.
think, the past 2 to 3 years. And, you know, they're getting to the point now where they're exhausted.
Yes,
and
they are.
it's just kind of like, what do you do? And you're still seeing people coming up with COVID or different
Right.
things now,
Yeah.
flu and whatnot. And so it's like a never ending.
Yeah.
It's
And
never
sadly,
ending.
like I love healthcare, but I had to take a step back because it was
Yeah.
so exhausting.
Yeah, a lot.
And I've been doing it since, I've been doing it for 7 years since I was a junior in high school. And I just
Mhm.
finally had to be like,
Yeah.
told my husband, I was like, I gotta take a break.
Yeah.
So besides
Except for
taking
she
care,
decided to come do events. I'm not
yeah,
really
I
sure
don't know really
the
why
break
or
she
where the
took.
break is happening, but
Yeah.
so like, yeah, I take care of my grandmother, but other than that, like I've just had to step back from the urgent care, and I didn't want
Yeah.
to, but it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
So, Whitney, if someone wants to call, like if they have an issue and they want to call Agena Care House, how do they do that?
They can go to our website, Agena Care House Calls. They can go to, we're on social media everywhere you want to look. We're all over there. But then our phone number is a dispatch line that they'll always talk to someone. They will not talk to a recording or the company in Alaska that everybody else seems to get. So, it's 540-529-5692. But again, it's on our website and all our social media.
What is your website?
AgenaCare.com.
AgenaCare.com.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on with us today, Whitney and Patricia. I think both of you guys are filling some much needed gaps in our community, and I'm really excited to have been able to put that out there to everyone listening today. For those that are listening or have been watching, make sure that you are subscribing. Go to grovestreet.fm or download the Grove Street FM app. And again, subscribe, go back and listen to episodes you may have missed, and make sure to tune in next Wednesday, and we'll be talking local to you.
Thanks.